Okay, so this is the week to a view spread. I always found this really useful. I'm a high school teacher, and so I always found this really useful to be able to plan everything across a week instead of having a day to every page, which made the planner bulky to carry around, heavier to carry around, and was harder for me as a big picture sort of person to plan out my lessons across a week so that they had a flow to them. So there's a couple of different ways that you can use this. If you have a school that is a 7-session school, so you have 7 sessions a day, you could go across this way and do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, smaller, and then do session 1, session 2, session 3, session 4 on a Monday, session 5 on a Monday, session 6, session 7, and then some lines down here for your to-do lists that day or things that you need to note for that day across the 7 sessions. So if I was using my gift pack and using my washi tape, my trusty Go card, or a library card, any sort of plastic card is fine, and I would just simply pop it down there. You just line it up with the line so it's nice and neat, and you tear it, bang, that's Friday. Get the idea? Now let's just say I've changed my mind, I'm not going to do it that way because it doesn't work for me. Simply peel it off, and it's reusable. So I could stick it, I don't know, just randomly here, and it still sticks again, and it hasn't ripped the paper here. So that's actually a very handy thing about washi tape. So that's if you have a 7 session, that's probably the most obvious way to go for a 7 session. If you have a 5 session school, you may find that going down this way works better for you. So instead of putting your day of the week here and going across the page, you could put it here, maybe a little bit straighter perhaps, and do your page down, session 1, session 2, session 3, session 4, session 5, and then perhaps for me, I worked at a 5-session school, and I would then put in my morning tea and lunch breaks, so I knew which days I had playground duty, what I'd planned to do if there was a birthday cake and I needed to be in the staff room at a particular point because it was somebody's birthday, and every staff room I've been in actually has been big on birthday cakes, so that was always very important. And then any little notes that you might want to jot down for the day down here, and then here you can have either session 1 chores, session 2 chores or tasks that you need to do every session of every day, or if there's just something in particular that's happening that week in that session, you might want to write it here so it doesn't take up valuable, if it's school photos in session 3 for your class, but you've still got to teach them because you're not going to be in doing your school photos all session. You might write school photos, session 3 Wednesday, and then you could still do your planning in Wednesday, but note that that's the date that's relating to that chart, that extra job, that interruption. So there are a couple of the obvious ways. I've also put this up here so that for general note taking, doodling, if you're a doodle listener and you like to doodle while you listen to people in meetings, any appointments or meetings that are happening, if you've planned to meet up with one of your students' parents after school one day to have a chat, you might put that in there. Or if there's been a change to your school, your week, something has come up and they've changed something in the calendar, you might write that there. Or if you have a meeting for a performance review or a student like a student mediation meeting or something along those lines, you might write it in there just so that everything is in that week on that page and you don't have to flick through the book trying to find the page that you wrote it on. So that's a couple of ideas of how to use this planner. So if you have obviously if you have a 6-session week, then you might decide that, and you like to go work down a page, for instance, you could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you like to work across, you could have your day of the week here, Monday, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then divide, and then you could rule a line, or you could just write down any bits that you need to do after school down there at the end, and you could do before school here. So basically this layout, I feel, is limited only by your imagination and how you work, how you operate. So and the planner has been designed deliberately like that because there's for a number of different reasons. First of all, I found planners never really had everything that I needed in the way that I like it, and so I like the versatility of this. I also, it's undated, and I often found with planners that I bought that I wouldn't use all of them every week. For instance, on camp week or in the school holidays, I wouldn't need to write anything, and there would be pages and pages of blank weeks in my diary at the end of the year, and I would just think that was such a waste, and it was so frustrating, and it was all such a thick book to be carrying around empty pages, and that didn't make it really work for me. So this way you can plan it up, you can label it all up on the weekend before school starts, or however you want to do it, and then you can just write the dates in as you go, so that if camp is next week and the whole week is a write-off because you don't have to teach anything and so you don't need a planner, then you simply don't rule that up. There's 40 weeks of these planners, so like of this layout in the planner, so if you do use it, there is enough for 40 weeks of planning, which is an average school year in Australia, no matter what state you're in, I believe. So that could, you could find that to be quite a versatile thing for you, and it's actually quite quick just to put the dates in as you go. It's not a big deal, and it makes it that little bit more versatile. So that is the Versatile Teacher Planner from Printable Me Australia.